it's
Oh,
like
yeah.
stressful.
So Lavender Bridge is
I wasn't sure if that's what
Clover
we should.
Lane.
Oh. Everything's up in
Showing the houses.
Oh, so these are ones that I do.
No, they're not there, they're because of the schools.
Oh, this would be behind the school, not.
Okay.
Oh.
Call the meeting to order.
Roll call, Mayor Juarez. Here. President Newmiller.
Here.
Council Butcher. Here. Council McCarthy. Here. Council Sutherland.
Here.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I now declare the public hearing open, regular meeting closed and the public hearing open for consideration of the Ridge West rezone. The hearing will be conducted in accordance with state statutes, Mills Council procedures, and other applicable laws. The hearing has been set and advertised in accordance with the statutes. I would ask that those individuals who wish to address the council on this issue to approach the lectern and state your name for the record. Do we have a report from staff on this item?
Good evening, Council. So this is for the Mountain Meadows number 2, lot 2A. It's a rezone. It's supposed to be a council staff initiated rezone. So the summary is the applicant is proposing zoning map amendment to rezone property along Robertson Road from urban agriculture to residential 1. The property is situated along the western edge of Robertson Road, bordering the Wyoming Classical Academy to the north and county properties to the south and west. It's currently zoned urban agriculture. The existing land use is none. It is vacant grassland. Adjacent land uses to the north is Charter Heights, which is urban agriculture. South are county properties zoned light industrial. East is Robertson Hills and Robertson Heights, which are residential 1. And west is county property, again light industrial. So planning considerations. This is a continuity of zoning patterns in the area. Rezoning of the Robertson Road parcels from UA to R1 will align zoning with the established Robertson Heights subdivision immediately to the east. It removes isolated agricultural zoning strips between residential neighborhoods and supports orderly development. R1 zoning provides a compatible transition between suburban residential in the Robertson Heights area to a more semi-rural pattern in the Platteview Estates area. This balances growth pressures along Robertson Road with the preservation of rural characteristics further to the west. On the infrastructure front, municipal services such as water, sewer, police, and fire are already extended to serve the Robertson Heights area and the Platteview area. This would not be an undue burden. Extending residential 1 zoning westward along Robertson Road would allow infill housing to utilize existing infrastructure without substantially new investments for the city. Housing demand, Mills and Natrona County continue to experience a high demand for single-family housing. Rezoning provides an opportunity to meet this demand within the city limits rather than pushing growth outward into county subdivisions. The city's comprehensive plan encourages residential development along major corridors where utilities and services are already available. This rezone would implement those objectives while reducing the pressure to expand municipal boundaries unnecessarily. And this rezone is consistent with the 2016 Natrona County Land Use Plan, which indicates development is necessary on the subject land as a selenium mitigation measure. The rezone is consistent with Title 17, which establishes intent of zoning to promote health, safety, and general welfare of the city, to encourage most appropriate land use, and to conserve the value of buildings and land. The rezone rezone to R1 would provide the intent to provide for low-density residential development in the form of detached single-family dwellings that pair well together with schools, parks, and other related facilities that serve neighborhoods. Staff recommends approval. To date, we have one letter in opposition from Don Oakes, an adjacent landowner who is vehemently opposed, as his letter states. The Planning and Zoning Commission recommended approval.
Any questions? Casey?
Thank you.
Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak in favor of this item?
Good evening, Mayor, Council. Sean Gustafson, ECS Engineers. I speak in favor of this. I think it fits
Sorry.
well.
I'm so sorry.
What did I
Now
do?
you're-
Every time. I'm so sorry.
That's okay. I'm just in favor of it. I agree with the staff report that this fits. It fits with the surrounding neighborhood, and I think it's the logical zoning for this particular area. So, any questions I can answer, or?
I don't have any.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak in favor of this item? Third and final time, is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak in favor of this item? Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak in opposition to this item? Is Roach Lectern?
Start the 10 seconds now, so it will be again.
Good evening.
Hold on just a second. Thank you. Go ahead.
My name is Dan Scherlinger. I own the property to the south of where you're going to build the houses. I have a horse boarding stables there and many storage units. I've been there for over 30 years. To the southwest of me, there's another boarding stables. I'm not 100% pro and I'm not 100% against this, but I do have some deep concerns. I realize you folks cannot answer questions right now, but I'd like to express some of my concerns. One of the concerns I have is going to be the property line. I have steel pipe fences and I left a 4 to 5 foot gap in between that fence and my property line barbed wire fence. There's going to be children in that area. What's going to stop them from coming through that fence? And then 4 or 5 feet coming through the next one. I don't want anybody trying to force me out because I've been there so long. I run a very lucrative business and I enjoy my business. I'd like to know if there's going to be any type of barrier put up, any type of fence with an additional at least 5 feet. Because if not, I'm worried about children hanging over the fence and getting bit or crawling over there, you know, something happening. Even though I do not have wild horses there, they're still animals. I don't care how we look at it. The gentleman that was up here, I may have misunderstood him, but I didn't hear him describe any businesses or anything like that to the west, and that would be me. I have almost 60 acres out there, and the gentleman alongside me with horses has, I know, 40 acres and another, I believe, 60 acres of BLM land. So that's almost 160 acres of land that nobody has addressed. I'm kind of worried about taxes. With houses going in, is that going to affect my taxes or these other people's taxes? Because I know when they put buildings in or stores in and etc., taxes go up. Why should my taxes go up because somebody's putting houses in? I don't think that's fair to me or these other people. There's other concerns that I think the other folks out here have, but safety is a big concern. And I think it should be a concern for you folks. The traffic. I was at another meeting earlier about traffic. They're going to possibly put roundabouts in that area. I think you could make better choices with an on-flow right and on-flow left and etc. in that area, which would move the traffic a lot faster. You know, I know they talked about putting sidewalks in. If they put a 10-foot wide sidewalk in front of my property like they spoke, then somebody is going to have to pay to move my fences. And last time the state did that, it was $97,000. And they ended up writing a check for that. Now, that was only 300 feet. We're talking possibly 1,000 feet of pipe to be moved. That's all expenses that somebody's gonna have to pay, and I refuse to. You know, I'm on my own property. All my fences are. I put them all inward toward my property so it would not create problems for people. I foresee problems here. At this time, I would have to say, I'm against this unless somebody would like to meet with me and answer some of these questions and some of these folks' questions. I think there's serious questions involved that should be answered before this goes forward. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
Anyone?
Good evening. My name is Mary Peterson.
Hold on. Oh, sorry. Okay.
My name is Mary Peterson, and I own the land to the west of this development. Years ago, about 3 or 4 years ago, I was approached by the developer because she wanted me to grant some easement trade-off with her. I was agreeable to it based on the description that she provided to me, and that included that these would be large acre lots, that it would be maintaining the country and rural feel of the neighborhood, that it would be much more like the development that's across north of there with the larger lots. It was also enticing with a paved road, access to utilities, city water and potentially city sewer. So it was very attractive, but I was most keen on it based on the idea that we would maintain the country look and feel. The proposal that she laid out to me showed a fraction of the properties being subdivided in here, not anywhere near the 85 or 80 that's proposed in this. So I was not adverse to, say, the 20, 25 lots where she laid it out to me. So I'm very concerned with the density of here. We have a traditional rural feel in that area, and I hate to lose that. I'm also concerned about the tax and so many of the other concerns expressed by the other gentlemen here. So thank you for your time. I just wanted to express my concerns and my displeasure at losing our country feel.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else in the audience who'd like to speak in opposition to this item? For a third time, is there anyone in the audience who wishes to speak in opposition to this item? Hearing none, being no others, speak for or against this item, I now declare the public hearing closed and the regular meeting back in session. There will be another public hearing in a couple of weeks over the same item before anything is passed or even looked at. So I encourage you all to show up there and hear what we have to say at that point.
Will we be able to ask questions at that time and possibly get some answers?
Yeah, you can ask in open discussion here tonight too, if you want to stick around for just a minute.
Okay.
Moving on, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Motion passes. And we'll go into open discussion. So if you have questions at this point, please approach the lectern and state your name and address. And
I'd like to briefly address a couple of the issues that arose. Maybe we can talk about it first before we bring them up. I think one of the concerns was fencing and barbed wire and individuals reaching over. So do we have ordinances, or are we aware of fencing requirements for the development?
There would not be any specific provisions regarding fencing.
Okay.
Other than, you know, the typical ones that have to do with yards and whatnot, but in regards to the concerns that were raised here tonight, the answer would be no.
Yeah, I thought so. And then another issue was roundabouts. I assume that maybe was a suggestion on the MPO, right, with the Robertson Road?
That would be my guess, that's what, the place I've heard it.
Yeah, I know that we're opposed to roundabouts, but, you know, those are just proposals, those are not solidified by any means. It's not something that we want to see as a council, I don't believe. So there's that, and then obviously we have absolutely no control over taxes, but, you know, rural is taxed based on rural. It should really have no influence on homes. Homes are taxed by homes. I mean, I get the concern and, you know, things rise as they naturally do, but this really shouldn't have any direct impact on the rural development or rural zoning of the neighborhoods right below to the southwest and the west of this. Then, you know, the individual who had the agreement for the, what was it, the easement, and that's tough. What's unfortunate about, you know, those agreements is it doesn't bind anybody to conditions of development. So I get your concerns completely. You know, this was proposed as larger lot sizes, and then that's been changed. So I can see your concerns and frustration as well, because after the fact, there's not much that can be done in regards to the proposal that was pitched to you originally. But those are my comments. Does council have any?
Was there any proposal on perimeter fence around this, Sean, or do you have any idea?
In a general sense, the lots themselves are fenced off with, you know, a 6 foot. Generally, it's a 6 foot cedar type fence or a vinyl fence or something like that. In many cases, I've seen that part of the HOA requirements.
Right.
And I can't say for certain, but I would guess that those requirements would be very similar in this subdivision.
Okay. Thank you. Dan, did you want to?
Yes, please.
Starting it early, hopefully it doesn't be.
You need me to say who I am again?
Oh, there we go, we're good now.
I appreciate you addressing the things that I brought up. I really do. There are serious concerns. In regards to the fencing that people put up, horses crib. In other words, they eat wooden barns, and it costs a lot to replace them, and I'm the one paying for that. Well, if people put up cedar fences at the 5 foot mark, they're gonna get eaten, and you know, the horse is gonna stretch that far. That's why I asked if another 4 or 5 feet could be extended, say, on the builder's part. That way there'd be a 10 foot piece across there with not only my steel fence, but barbed wire fence, and then that 5 feet that they would put in, which would help curb that problem, probably 100%. Just a suggestion. I know that in the past, that there has been serious drainage problems in that area, and that's why that big ravine is on my property. And I was gonna narrow that ravine at one time, and the county came and stopped me saying, that's the drainage from the area that you folks are gonna work in. It runs down through there. I don't know if this is a good time to bring it up, but I think that's something that should be addressed. Because if you change that drainage, it's either gonna run toward the school, or it's gonna run toward the Oaks' property, which is gonna be a lot of water. And I don't know where you're gonna run your storm drains, because you can't run them uphill. You know, so that's something you might wanna address also. Other than that, I appreciate what you said about the taxes and stuff, I really do. But I have the concerns, and like I say, I'm not pro and I'm not against at this time, but I think it's stuff that needs to be addressed, and I'd like to be informed of how they're answered.
In your stormwater stuff, I mean, they're engineering that out, so I mean, it
Okay.
will go to places, and it should not impact you or Oaks.
Okay, okay. I appreciate you listening to me. Thank you.
I would say that your drainage in the ravine that you're talking about is gonna be the same, the way that it was mapped out, the same amount of land is gonna be draining to that. The rest of it's gonna go the other way, so in regards to your property, that's not gonna have too much of a change of influence, but I think that the fencing thing maybe is more of an HOA, but I appreciate you reaching out, because I think as somebody who could buy a home there, it would be not, I don't know about horses, so it would be nice to know that before I put a fence up where the horses can reach it. And
Yeah, they love to eat wood.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you sharing that too, because I think as a builder moves forward and sells lots, that's something that can be shared with them.
And the extra 5 feet gap would take care of that problem. It really would. But I don't want to pay for that 5 feet,
Yeah,
you know, so.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Sure. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the audience for open discussion? Seeing none, we will move on. We have a motion to approve resolution number 2025-33, a resolution amending the bonding schedule.
I make a motion that we approve resolution number 2025-33.
Second.
A motion and a second to approve resolution number 2025-33. Is there any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Motion passes. Do I have a motion to pass resolution number 2025-34, a resolution regarding the consolidation of 4 lots into 2?
I make a motion to approve resolution number 2025-34. Second.
And a motion and a second to approve resolution number 2025-34. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Motion passes. Council approvals.
I make a motion that we go into an agreement for medical transportation services.
Second.
Any discussion on that? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion passes. Is there a motion to go into executive session for a legal matter?
Make a motion to go into executive session for legal matter.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 We'll stand at recess until we return. Meeting is back in order. As a result of the executive session, no action is needed. Do I have a motion to go into executive session for another legal matter?
I make a motion to go into an executive session for a legal matter.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Stand at recess to go into. Council is back. Session is back in order. As a result of the executive session, no action is needed. Do I have a motion to go into executive session for another legal matter?
I make a motion that we go into an executive session on another legal matter.
Second.
How does council vote?
Aye.
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 Stand at recess to the sound of the gavel. Council has returned from an executive session. No result is needed. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion we adjourn.
How does council vote?
Aye.
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 The meeting's over.